And at what point did you start playing for the Olympians, the London Olympians?
That would have been in my... So I started playing in 2003 when I was 18. So it would have been 2004.
Okay.
Like
So
2004,
you were
2005.
about 19.
Yeah. And I had a little bit of an ego.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was a lot better than I was. I was good, but I wasn't, the player that I would have become.
Right.
And I went there and there was like 9 running backs. Like, I was like, oh, how am I going to get through all these guys? And these guys have been playing for years. And I'd only been playing in a little tiny university, terrible university, like in terms of football, for a year. So I went there and I felt like I wasn't even seen. Like, no one really knew I was even there. So after that, I played like the whole season. And it came to the playoffs. And I walked out of my house because I had to travel like 2 hours to practice. And 2 hours in London is a long time. It's not a straight road. It's, you get on one train, another bus, another train, and walking, another bus, and you're there. And I got down to my street and I walked out of my house and I just realized, what am I doing? Like, I'm going there, but I'm not even playing. And I wasn't one of those guys that enjoyed being around a successful team and just on the sideline. Like, I was like, I want to be a part of this. Like, I wasn't even getting garbage time. Like, the only time I got garbage time was against like the super garbage teams. So I was like, what am I doing? So I literally quit. I turned back, took off my bag, put my helmet and shoulder pads down, and I didn't go back. And then I went back to university again. I had a good season, and I realized that that's not the way. So I went back to the Olympians. No one even realized I left. They were like, "Oh, cool, you're here." Like, I left for a whole 3 games. I didn't even go to the final, and no one realized I wasn't even there. That's how I knew that. From then, I knew that okay, I'm gonna make them know who I am.
Right.
So from then, it was just my quest, just to whatever I did, it was just to tear it up. So it was in 2006 was the year that I became the starter of the team. And then, I don't know, 100-yard game after 100-yard game, 200-yard game.
Right.
And, one ended up winning the Brit Bowl.
Right. You guys also won in 2005 as well, right?
That's the year that I wasn't there.
Okay.
That's the year where I just, was it 2005 or 2000? One of those years where they lost in the final. I forgot which one it was. But the year they lost was the year that it was 2004 they lost. 2005 I was there because I was at the third string. In 2006 I was the first string.
Right. In 2006 you also Brit Bowl MVP, and
Yeah.
also you, as far as I know, you still hold the rushing record.
I still hold it. I'm so proud of
Bowl,
that.
right.
I'm still proud. I think it's 279 yards, and I don't think anyone's come that close to it either. And I did it on a torn MCL as well. So that was that was pretty impressive.
Okay.
I guess.
And at that point in your life, what did being a part of that team mean to you? I mean, because you spoke earlier about wanting to be in this team environment.
Yeah.
What did playing for that team, what did that bring into your life?
To be honest with you, I know most people talk about discipline and stuff like that, but it was the only place that I didn't get shouted at.
Okay.
So, when you're around football environments these days, maybe not as much these days because I think they've kind of clued onto it. But, a couple of years before, a football area was about shouting. The coaches shout, just to get their point across.
Right.
So the coaches didn't know any other way but to shout. That was the way they communicate to get their point across. I don't function like that. If you shout at me, I switch off.
Right.
And I'm out of there. If you want to shout at me, then I'm going to take myself in a little quiet corner and just chill and calm myself down before it escalates.
Right.
But where I was, in Derby, for example, I don't ever remember being shouted at. That may have been because I was the best player on the team, but I don't ever remember being shouted at. So it was a release for me. When I was at the Olympians, there was shouting, but no one was really getting shouted at. Because there's a difference between, getting people ready or being angry. You can be angry and shout at people, at the situation.
Right.
But when you point people out and you're saying you've done that, to me that's kind of counterproductive.
Right, I understand what you mean.
You're not getting the best out of people. Some people can react to that, and some
Right.
people can respond to it, and you get the best out of them. But the majority of me, I don't function that way. You can't shout at me. So for me, being in a sports environment, because I was getting disciplined at home, disciplined at church, like that was the one sanctuary that I thought, okay, here I can be me, and I can be free, and I can express myself here, and that's what I did. I used sports and I used football as a way of expressing myself, performing.
Okay.